This off-road toolkit costs $550. This is over $250 of tools we added to it to make it work for our truck. Today's challenge is to make a toolkit just as capable, if not more capable, but to do it as affordable as possible. At the end of this video, if this actually works, I will give you a list of every single tool and SKU number so you guys can go and recreate this toolkit yourselves. I'm gonna map out every single tool that is in here, as well as some notes on things that I still think are missing that I wish that I had. I don't wanna bore you guys to death, so we're gonna use the power of editing to just get that done. I'm always amazed when this works. Okay, so we've got every single tool in this kit now cataloged. There's about 80 tools here, so I am going to have to go online now and try to find the cheapest way to buy these. So this took a couple hours. I did eventually, after looking at Amazon and all over the place, I did end up settling in on Harbor Freight because it would be really annoying if I made a toolkit for you guys and you had to go to, 80 different stores to actually put it together. So I found that the bulk of the stuff that I needed, I could get through Harbor Freight at a good price. Now I need to go get all these tools and see if we can put this kit together. Okay, so I've been using this toolkit for going on 2 years. There's a few things that I've learned about it that were definitely either missing or just undersized. I'll give you a perfect example. The dead blow hammer that's in the Boxo toolkit is really kind of too small to be very useful. We actually had to replace some seals on our steering box in Moab. And we had to go by O'Reilly's and get a bigger dead blow hammer because we had to knock the pitman arm off. And without having the tool for that, you kind of need a really big hammer. We also needed to upsize the ball peen hammer for it to be useful. Even the pry bar, even though it's kind of cool and flexible, I really like to pry the pry bars that also have the other end that's like a spike that's used for alignment, like aligning bolt holes and things like that. When you're trying to fix stuff on the side of the road and your car's all flexed out, it's really handy to have those. The tire repair kit that it came with kind of has some issues where it doesn't have anything for replacing like valve stems. I had a valve stem go bad on me when I was snow wheeling with Nate, and I had to replace that.
Okay, so here's what we're up against. The other kit has about $800 in tools, but one of the biggest expenses in that kit was a Snap-on S-Jaw plier. It was like $170, and at the time, Snap-on was the only person that made them. Turns out Harbor Freight has these for $19.99. So already we're putting a big dent. Now that tool may seem like a small thing, but it is incredibly useful for working on broken tie rods and broken CVs out in the field.
Okay guys, we are back, and we did really good. I'm gonna need a minute to get this all unwrapped and open so we can rapidly go through it and compare final pricing. Here's what I can tell you. This is one heck of a good off-road toolkit, and it cost a lot less. Whew. Okay, we're gonna go through this really fast because I know you guys' time is valuable. We are going to compare what is in the Boxo kit to what is in here, and I'm gonna talk you through what has improved. So we're just gonna jump straight into it. Starting out here, we have the hammers that I was talking about, but these hammers have, like I said, been too small to really be useful. And we also have the pry bar. So for a pry bar hammers, we went ahead and we stepped it up to a bigger hammer and a much heavier ball peen hammer that's got a lot tougher base to it. These can actually be used on the road to get some real work done. And for pry bars, I opted to switch to this style of pry bar. This little guy can be used as a punch, and I like this style of pry bar a lot better for working on trucks on the side of the road. We got 3 of them instead of 1. This pouch has all of our pliers. They essentially give us a set of channel locks, set of scissors. I always call these, I forget what these are called, not nips, but pliers that can also cut, Got channel locks, we got needle nose, and then, yes, an actual set of nips for doing wires. So that's a pretty good set of pliers here. We went ahead and did the same thing. We have our channel locks, but we also added this. This slides up and down this way, so you can use this to grab onto extremely large things. And the amount of leverage that you get on this style over this is incredible. So if you're trying to, if you have like a tie rod that breaks, you can use this to wrestle tie rods off pretty easily on the side of the road. All kinds of interesting things where this comes in handy. This, like I said, was only $19.99. This is their Icon Tools, which is their more expensive brand. So far, I don't see anything wrong with this compared to the Snap-on pair that I have. We did cover the same thing. We also have needle nose, we also have these, we also have a set of nips, and then we got a bigger pair of scissors that, if you guys notice the time lapse of me opening all of this, came in really handy. I liked this set. This all came in one set together, and it has 3. I know these little ones, everybody laughs at them, they're not that useful for big jobs, but they're awesome for clamping brake lines. So yeah, we went with 3 instead of a single. I think that's actually kind of a big deal. Our next pouch is their electrical pouch, where it has a circuit tester, a crimper, stripper, cutter for wires, and it has some electrical tape, which comes in handy for a lot of things. And then it has another set of these. I didn't go ahead and backfill these because I already have multiple things that cut wire. And with the other stuff that I'm adding, I do try to actually save weight on these kits. So to cover what was in there, we also have a tester with a little bit longer cord. We've got electrical tape. We got a crimper, stripper, and cutter, of course. So we're kind of just matching what they have there. This is their patch kit. The patch kit has the 2 plungers, one for rounding out your hole that you got to stick your plug in, and then it has the one for actually putting your plug in. It's got a little bit of rubber cement, and then it has a razor blade cutter for cutting off any excess. So this thing's okay, and then later on we'll talk about it. They do have a tire valve core remover in here as well. But one thing that I always think is missing is every tire repair kit should have spare valve cores, and you should have one of these tools for doing a lot of different maintenance on your core tools. The other thing is this kit has one of these old school air things that are not very accurate. Now, half the time when I'm off-roading, I am going in the snow and I'm going down to like 3 to 5 PSI. This thing can't even register that, so it's not that useful. So I put in a better actual gauge for measuring your tires. Moving on, this pouch over here just happens to have gloves, has 3 pairs of gloves. I went ahead and bought a 50-pack of gloves. You don't have to take this whole thing in your case, but you can take 5-6 pairs out of here, stuff it in your tool bag, and then refill it anytime you use it. You can buy them in bulk, really cheap. I also added a pair of normal gloves because when you're working in the winter on your car, it just hurts. It hurts your hands, and it's brutal. This thing didn't have any gloves in it. I think an actual real pair of gloves in your actual tool bag is a great idea, also for doing recoveries. Now we're gonna move on to the actual tool roll portion of the Boxo bag. Now, one thing that is obvious, the Boxo toolkit has a very cool bag where each tool is labeled, and that is one of the nicer things about this bag. I will tell you the only thing that is slightly annoying about it is unzipping that and undoing the straps on it to get into that, to then get into this, and then everything. It actually takes a long time to actually get to your tools. So there's a debate. This is cool because if you're missing a tool that you got to go hunt down, you always know that you're missing because every single thing has like its little compartment. But on the flip side, if all you need is a 10mm wrench, it's annoying how long it takes to get inside of this bag. And then the zippers on the outside of this bag, I don't think are quite made to handle the amount of weight that this bag is. I have one of these cases where the zipper's kind of failing. We have in here a set of normal box-in wrenches on one side and 12s on the other. This set has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it has 11 different sizes. It starts at 8 and goes to 21. I have run into cases where I needed some things that were missing on this. So I did go ahead and get a little bit bigger set. This one has 14 wrenches, covering the same sizes as well as some extras. We have 2 different ratchets in here, a 1/2 inch and a 3/8. I did the same thing, a 1/2 inch and a 3/8. I think those are the sizes that you want. Now, one key thing about tool bags, and I think Boxo did pretty good at this, is you want to have redundancy. So let's say I break my big ratchet on the side of the road. Well, then I have a huge breaker bar. Yes, this is going to be way slower to work with because it doesn't actually ratchet. But in a worst case scenario, if I had to get something off, I can use this. Same thing with the Boxo. They gave you a breaker bar as well. The only thing I don't like about their breaker bar is it's not very breaky. It's barely longer than the ratchet. So I got us a real breaker bar as opposed to this one being a short one, but props to Boxo for redundancy built into the toolkit. I think that is super smart. We have screwdrivers. It's just a basic Phillips and flathead. These ones are magnetic, makes it easy to get those screws into hard to reach places. So very similar setup there. They gave us a adjustable wrench that goes up to size 35. 35 is pretty good. Pittsburgh makes this set that has 4. I don't think you need 4. I think this is a little too much weight for your kit to cover that much things. I would take the biggest one, which goes to a larger size than this kit has, and I would probably take the next one down, and I'd probably call it good. Again, these aren't always the best. You can strip a lot of tools that way, or a lot of bolts and stuff, but also if you use these correctly, they serve as redundancy for all of these. They can serve as redundancy for some of your sockets. It's a helpful thing to have. The next thing that we have in here is we have a 1/2 inch extension and a 3/8 extension. They only gave us the 2. One, the 1/2 inch one is a impact. I went ahead and got all impact extensions, and they were 3 packs. So we have a 3-pack of the 3/8 at a couple different lengths to work with, and then we have a 3-pack of the 1/2 inch. You guys will probably notice, anybody that's super paying attention, it's 1/2 inch here, but it's not here. This is the one thing that I messed up on. I needed to order 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. So yeah, make sure you get the right extensions, but I think getting a couple different lengths of extensions is great and can be super helpful. After that, we've got a set of Torx and a set of hexes, and we went ahead and did the same thing. Oh, the Boxo kit has a punch, which is a fairly large punch. Sometimes you can use this to align bolts when you're working on a car on the side of the road. We went ahead, if you remember right, I got that other type of pry bar that works as an alignment rod. So we don't have, and you can use those as a punch as well. So I didn't necessarily need to do this, but I did go ahead and grab us a small set of punches. This covered a whole bunch of sizes. In all reality, I would just be bringing the largest sizes right here. There's no reason to need this many punches in your off-road toolkit. After that, hose clamp driver. I love this, that they did this. I know that you can go find a socket, and I know that you can go find a wrench, but the amount of times a hose clamp ends up being your roadside fix for something, it's not gonna be your fix forever, but it's just gonna get you by. Happens all the time, and to have one of these is so much faster than almost any other way of working with those. So to have a designated hose clamp driver, I think is huge. It turned out to get a hose clamp driver like that, they sent us a whole entire set of those drivers. Considering weight is an issue and size of everything, I honestly probably would take the hose clamp one out and leave all these at the shop. But some people will really like these, so you could bring these. So it's a little bit better because you'll have more options if you want them. If you don't want them, pull out, what size is the hose clamp? It's a 5/16, yeah, 5/16. Stick this one in your kit specifically for hose clamps. We just used hose clamps. We broke all of our muffler mounts on the 80 series when we were in Moab. So we had to link together 2 hose clamps and link it to the muffler. And we ended up running trails for 3-4 more days after that. And in fact, it's still the only thing holding the muffler on right now. Sockets. That's this pouch right here. Okay, so again, oh, I'm making a mess. Props to Boxo for thinking out of the box. They gave you 3 metric sockets that are specifically for lug nuts. Now, they give us a 19, a 17, and a 21. The problem that I run into with this is all of my trailers have, they don't have metric. They have standard, and the standard needs a 22, which is a different size in standard. So I went ahead and got this set. This is the most expensive thing out of all these tools. This is the most expensive single item. This one has a full set of metric lug nut tools, and then as well as the standard sizes. You probably don't need this many of all of these in your toolkit, but if you have this, it will cover everything that you could get, and just put the applicable ones that you need for your situation in your bag and save the weight. Then they have a full set of sockets, regular sockets, very much like this. So we're covering our same sizes there. And then they had only 4 impact sizes. It was, 16, 18, 35, and 33. For sockets, we got a full set of impacts. We have, the impacts are the 1/2 inch, and then we got a full set of these. These are the 3/8. So there's duplicates, there's crossover, you have some redundancy there. These 2 large sizes on here, these sizes are really, I love that they put them in there, but it really comes down to what vehicle you're driving. When I'm driving my Tundra, if I need an oversized socket, I actually need this guy right here, which is a 39 millimeter. Obviously, it's an axle nut socket. If I am driving a Tacoma, I end up needing this one. This stock one is a 36, but if you have aftermarket axles on it, then it's usually a 35. So I didn't include these oversized ones in this kit because you're gonna have to go shop and buy your individual sizes. These sockets aren't that expensive. I ordered these off of Amazon. They cost about $7 a piece. We'll include it in the overall price to offset those 2 as well, but don't copy what I'm doing. Make sure you get the ones that are correct for your car. Here's another perfect example. For my 80 series, you have to get this weird thing. I don't even know what size this is or what this thing is, but this is the tool that you need to be able to work on your axles on the side of the road with an 80 series Land Cruiser. So buy whatever is the correct ones for your car. Now we have reached the end of everything in this bag. I went ahead and I added a few things. Simple things. 1, duct tape. This is actually Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape, you'd be amazed some of the problems you can solve with this. So having some tape is awesome. Another thing that I added is zip ties. Some really, really big ones for big problems and some medium ones for medium problems. I don't know anybody that doesn't have zip ties in their off-road toolkit. All in all, this is a great kit. Covers everything that was in that $550 kit. It covers the extra tools that we added to it. We added, the only other 2 tools that we added that we do have for this actually as well is a little can of WD-40. Never know, comes in handy. And then a flare nut tool for your brake lines. This is just one that's on one side it's a 10, on another side it's a 12. This thing's like, I think it was $3.99. So that completes our toolkit in competition with I don't know, almost $800 in tools that were there. Okay, real quick before we do price, two things that I know you guys are gonna wanna know. I weighed both of these toolkits. The Boxo toolkit with the stuff that we kind of had to add to it to make it adequate, weighed in at 36.4 pounds. This budget toolkit is weighing in at 43.6. So it is about 7 to 8 pounds heavier. Now keep in mind, it actually has a decent amount of more tools than this one. It has more sockets, has more wrenches, it has more pliers. It's got a lot more options, so it kind of makes sense that it weighs more. Now, let's really quickly also just talk about the bag really quick. I opted for this Bauer bag because it's a budget toolkit, it's pretty affordable, it's oversized on purpose, so it has plenty of room to also fit your recovery gear if you want to put that all in one place. If you're more organized, where you like the style of this one, where things have individual pockets, you can go on Amazon and for very cheap, usually between 16 to 20 bucks, you can find a bag like this. And this one's kind of cool just because you have a Velcro pouch, kind of like this one, on the outside for some of your most common tools that you use, like that number 10 wrench. And then on the inside, this one goes with the bag system, not the individually labeled. I think this one's quicker, much faster access. So I've got some gloves in here, got my patch kit right there, and then I just dump, all my wrenches into one pouch. Sure, it's not labeled as nice. It's a lot harder to check if you're missing something, but it is way faster to grab and go on tools. So this one has 5 pouches. I'll put a link to it. I'm not necessarily recommending this one over anything else. I would shop for bags based on your own personal preference. I found this one to be pretty useful. I throw inside of the bigger Bauer bag and it makes it to where I don't have as many loose hand tools rolling around in there. And the only thing that I have in there separate is just the really big items like the hammers or gloves, things like that. I think that brings us to price. So I'm gonna put up on the screen the list of every SKU that is in here. If you guys want to go and recreate the exact same kit, you're gonna be able to pause the screen here and just print this out and use that to shop online and get everything, or you can take it to a store. It has all the SKUs. One thing I will tell you guys, some of you guys are gonna be picky and you're gonna go, some of the bargain priced stuff at Harbor Freight isn't good enough for me. For example, I don't hear a lot of people complaining about the sockets, but they may complain about, say, like, I want a better ratchet. Just keep in mind, I have the whole point of this video is to try to make an affordable kit for you guys. I have the budget Pittsburgh ratchets, but if you want a better ratchet, you can step up to some of the Icon really nice ratchets, and the difference in cost is only 20 bucks. Okay, it's time for the moment that everyone has been waiting for. Price. This whole entire kit cost me $446 to build out. Now remember, if you want to do it cheaper than that, you can actually save almost 70 bucks just by having your own bag and not buying this one. I think this one was 39 bucks. And then also you could save a decent amount of money on that lug nut kit. That lug nut kit alone was 56 bucks, I think. If you have a different solution for lug nuts, right there, you're saving almost 80 bucks and you're down in the $300s of dollars to build this exact same kit. In comparison to this one, where we have this plus the tools that it took to be similar, to kind of beef this kit up, this was almost $800. I actually started this video and was trying to build out a budget kit on Amazon because I thought I could do it cheaper on Amazon than I could do it at Harbor Freight. I don't make any commission off of Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight doesn't have any way to actually pay commission. So I hope you guys understand, this really was an unbiased budget kit. If I was trying to do this to make a bunch of money off of you guys, I would have used Amazon links, because if you shop on Amazon, I get paid commission. I ended up on Harbor Freight because it was the cheapest way to do it, and it was the cheapest by a long shot. So that is why we ended up here. I did write Harbor Freight a letter and said, will you guys send me tools to film with to make an educational video, because I don't want to go broke making videos that make no money. So they were nice enough to send out a bunch of these tools, not all of them, but a bunch of these tools to allow me to film. The ones that I ended up having to buy was all last minute just because I was still piecing together the kit and trying to make the best kit I could for you guys. So this was a video that truly was for you guys. I got asked this question a lot. I can't afford $800 toolkit. Is there a cheaper way to do it? So here you go. Here's all the information. Pause, print out that screen. Go get a good off-road toolkit. If you guys ever do want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. It's super cheap. I think it's $2.99 a month or something like that. We put a bunch of behind-the-scenes videos and extra content on there. We're allowed to be a lot more candid on there, where we can just talk about quick questions that people are asking and quick answers, all kinds of stuff like that. So consider joining our member channel if you do want to support the work that we're doing. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next Sunday.